Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful idea from Silicon Valley legend Guy Kawasaki. It's the art of enchantment. And we're going to use his book as our guide to, well, pretty much transform how you think about influence. So, let's kick things off with a big question. How do you really change hearts and minds? I mean, how do you get people to not just, agree with you, but to voluntarily, enthusiastically jump on board with your cause, your product, your idea? This goes way beyond just persuading someone. We're talking about creating a real, deep connection. Check out this quote. This is literally how Guy Kawasaki describes seeing the first Macintosh computer, way back in 1983. I mean, listen to that. Removed the scales from my eyes, parted the clouds. It wasn't just a machine to him, right? It was this incredibly powerful experience that completely changed his life and his career. And that feeling, that's what he calls enchantment. So what is enchantment, really? Well, at its core, it's the process of delighting people. The goal isn't just a one-time sale or a quick win. The outcome is voluntary, long-lasting support that's good for everyone involved. It's about turning skeptics into supporters and supporters into true fans. Okay, we need to be super clear about this. Enchantment is absolutely not manipulation. It's about creating win-win situations. It's based on delight. Manipulation, on the other hand, is all about self-interest and, forcing people's hands. An enchanter wants to make things better for everyone, not just get what they want. All right, so this all sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you become an enchanter? Well, Kawasaki says it all starts with a foundation built on two key things, being likable and being trustworthy. So, first up, likability. And Kawasaki puts it pretty bluntly. Jerks seldom enchant people. Makes sense, right? And this isn't about being fake. It's about small, genuine things, like a real smile, what they call a Duchenne smile, one that actually reaches your eyes. It's about truly accepting people for who they are, no judgment. Finding things you both care about to build a real connection. And this is a big one, having a default to yes attitude, just starting from a place of, how can I help? Okay, so that's likability. The other half of the foundation is trust. And Kawasaki sums this up with one really powerful Yiddish word, mensch. And being a mensch, it's all about what you do. It means you focus on goodwill, not just, what's in it for you. You share what you know freely. You let people finish what they're saying. And you always, always give people the benefit of the doubt. This is how you build a reputation for integrity. And that is absolutely crucial for any kind of enchantment. Okay. So you've built that foundation, you're likable, you're trustworthy. Now what? How do you actually launch your cause out into the world? Well, Kawasaki gives us this really simple but incredibly powerful 3-step framework. And listen, this is not about burying people in data and facts. It's about capturing their imagination. Step 1, tell a great story. Step 2, immerse people in the experience. And step 3, a really important one, get your very first follower. And that first step is so important. Think about it. People are drowning in information. They don't want more of it. What they want is faith. Faith in you, faith in your goals. Kawasaki's point is that facts alone, they just don't create faith. But a great story, that's what does it. Like a classic David versus Goliath story, or just a really personal story about overcoming something. And then there's that third step, getting that first follower. This is absolutely critical. The first follower is what turns a, quote, lone nut into a leader. That first person who joins in is the one who makes your cause legit. They show everyone else that it's okay, maybe even cool, to jump on board. But let's be real, it's never that easy, is it? Not everyone is going to jump on board right away. Every single great idea faces resistance. So what do you do when people are skeptical or just plain reluctant? Well, enchantment actually gives you a toolkit for that too. One of the most powerful tools in that kit is something called social proof. It's a pretty simple idea. We look to other people to figure out how we should act. If everyone else is doing something, we just kind of assume it must be the right thing to do. But here's the kicker. This can work
for you, or it can totally backfire and work against you.
And when it backfires, it can be pretty dramatic. Check out this crazy experiment from the Petrified Forest National Park. Researchers put up a sign that said something like, "Many past visitors have removed petrified wood." Now, what does that do? It basically tells people, hey, lots of people steal wood from here.
And guess what happened? The theft of that wood more than doubled. It jumped to almost 8%. The sign made the bad behavior seem common, so more people did it. The sign that actually worked? It was simple. It just said, please don't remove the petrified wood, focusing on what they wanted people to do.
Okay, here's another great technique. Find a bright spot. So instead of getting bogged down in all the problems, you look for one small example of where your idea is already working, and then you amplify that. There's this amazing story about Jerry Sternin in Vietnam who was trying to fight malnutrition. Instead of bringing in all these outside experts, he just found the few poor families whose kids were perfectly healthy. He figured out what those moms were doing differently, and then he had them teach the other mothers. It was simple, it was local, and it totally worked.
But remember, enchantment isn't about a one-time thing. It's not a transaction. The real goal here is to create voluntary, long-lasting change. So the big question is, how do you make it stick? How do you make it endure? The ultimate goal, the absolute peak, is something called internalization. This is when people go beyond just liking your thing or identifying with the group. It's when they truly, deeply believe in your cause. They make it their own, not because of peer pressure, not because they're getting some reward, but because it genuinely aligns with their own personal values.
And this is a perfect example. This is a testimonial they found inside a Tilly hat. I mean, listen to how this guy talks about his hat. He says it loves to fish and doesn't complain. He hasn't just bought a hat. He has completely internalized what the brand stands for: durability, reliability. This guy isn't a customer anymore. He's a lifelong advocate.
So we've covered a lot, right? We've gone from building that foundation of trust all the way to making enchantment last. But this leaves us with one final and, I think, really important question to think about.
Because let's face it, not every enchanter has your best interests at heart. Knowing how to defend against unethical enchantment is a critical life skill for all of us. It means knowing when to walk away from a tempting situation. It means thinking about the long-term consequences, not just the short-term appeal. It means being skeptical of flashy data and not letting one powerful story blind you to all the other facts. I think in the end, being a great enchanter also means being a really smart and discerning audience. And that is a thought worth holding on to.